Well, if you don't understand what exactly you want to do, what role you're going to play after the completion of your undergraduate as well as master's program, we have seen students who have done their BTech, and after completing their BTech, they identified that BTech is not their part of. It's not their goal, right? They want to do something else.
My mother always wanted me to take science ever since I was a kid. It's basically what their
So you
parents
have disappointed your mother. To some
Well,
extent.
I wouldn't say that.
LLB with an international relation is a very good combination, right? So you can not only work for United Nations, right?
Peer pressure is a thing which will either break your life or make your life.
Right.
So you need to be extremely thorough and clear on what you want to do. Most of the people in science that I know, they only took science because their mother wanted it. They're very good at studies. They can learn anything.
They can be very good at music as well, right? If you have selected humanities against the parental influence, right, then what has gone through with you? Because that decision, that choice was very tough choice.
Well, obviously, if you like science and your parents want science, then obviously you should take science. I'm not telling anybody to not take science. What I'm telling you is to listen to yourself before you listen to others.
Welcome to Student Voice Matter, a platform which empowers students to speak out. Today, I am your host, Abhishek Desarkar, and we have a wonderful guest from Calcutta Boy School. His name is Priyam Deb. He is presently studying in class 11.
That
Priyam,
is right.
welcome to Student Voice Matter.
Thank you for having me here. It's honestly a pleasure being here for the first time and doing this sort of thing.
Perfect. So, Priyam, we try to understand your background, what you are studying right now.
So I'm currently in 11th grade.
Right.
I am in humanities.
Right.
And the main subjects that I have are preferably towards law.
Okay. So, your future plan of action is to become a lawyer.
A lawyer, yes.
Right. And what prompted you to select humanities? Because nowadays we understand the parents plays a very important role in influencing students' choices. Right?
There's obviously a societal norm that either boys take commerce or science.
Right.
Well, I just don't think that's the case because subjects aren't gender based.
Right.
And plus, the subjects that are in humanities, we've already studied them before. History, political science, all of them, we have done that to some sort of extent.
Right.
So since I don't really like science and I don't like numbers,
Right.
so I decided that humanities would be the best option for me if I want to pursue law.
Right. And that's why you have chosen humanities. So you're very clear. Your vision is very clear, right?
Well, I would hope so.
Yeah. Okay. So Priyam, tell me that when you were in class 10, right? What was the subject that you have studied over
Well,
there?
I was just a normal boy with science, physics, chemistry, biology, maths, computer, which I took up on my own accord.
Right.
So all the normal subjects.
And as you mentioned that you don't like numbers, you want to that's why you have chosen humanities. And
Well, I was not really ever good at math. I could do it, but I just didn't want to.
so when you in your school days, when you are not performing well in your maths, so is there any parental pressure that you have faced, or any kind of pressure that you think that you have?
Well,
Because
there's always
maths is a subject that we have to do until class 10. That's the norm of Indian educational system, right? So whether there was any kind of pressure that you have faced?
Well, there was some pressure. It was not direct, but it was indirect.
Right.
Like I would obviously not score that well, but I wasn't like a bad student. Before lockdown and all of that stuff happened, I was just a regular average student. Sometimes would get 80%, all of that. But after online and after I came back from online, things became a bit more difficult. Sorry.
Yeah.
And so my parents, I had good teachers, so that's the only reason why I was able to get away with
Right.
doing average.
Right.
Because the teacher believed in me, so my parents did as well.
Okay. Apart from your education, what are the other extracurricular activity that you participate in your life?
Well, in 10, I really wanted to participate in some debates, but I never
Okay.
got the chance to. So
Okay.
when I came in 11, from the beginning, I've been doing a lot of things. I've been doing some mock parliaments, some moot courts, which is basically like a court procession. I've been doing a thing called Model United Nations. It's basically a political debate, which can either be in the Lok Sabha or in the United Nations. Anything which would get me certificates and merit.
So you since you already determined that you want to be a lawyer, right? That's your aspiration.
That is
that's
true.
your career choices, right? And that's why you think that participating in this kind of debate enrich more of your skills for or prepare you for a better way for your lawyer profession, right? So that's why you think that participating in this kind of program will help you out.
Well, I'm going to be honest here. I wasn't really good at speaking at all.
Right.
So I really wanted to fix that because I was just a shut-in for most of my life. Not because like there was some sort of trauma or stuff. I just didn't really want to talk. So I decided to go out of my comfort zone, participate in these things, and it turned out that I really liked them. And plus, doing moot courts would not only help me in gaining merit, but also would be future experience because they're actually professional lawyers who come to host these things.
So how well knowledge you acquire for the politics and all those stuff, since you mentioned that you have participated in some
Well,
of
the most important thing is research.
Right.
Because before you go to these stuff, if you don't have your basics down, you will be targeted. So you need to do extensive research. That may be-
Any present concern in Indian politics or something that trigger your mind a lot?
Well, recently in September, I went to a Model United Nations where the topic was regarding the abrogation of Article 370 in Kashmir. So that's a really sensitive topic, and it's a really intriguing one because when I was little, I really wanted to go to Kashmir. This is around 2019, but I wasn't able to go to it because of the communal riots. So after I grew up, I just really found out what was really happening in Kashmir. If you watch the Article 370 movie, it's an amazing movie, but it's not that accurate. You would know that it's just oppression. So when I wanted to study, if you know and you like the thing which you are doing, it will be much easier to research about it and know about it.
So what is your take on this Article 370
Well,
as a student?
As a student, of course.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, what happened in Kashmir was not good. There was obviously some external pressure forced upon the Kashmiris. So the abrogation was necessary, but the way that it was done was totally wrong. While they're sitting in Kashmir suffering, the people in Delhi decided that they are going to abrogate a article which is so important to the Kashmiri heritage that it would just ruin the country.
Yeah, you have a logic for your opinion. Definitely, everybody will acknowledge that. But you also have to reconsider the old history of Kashmir, and when the Kashmiri Pandit has faced some kind of adversity. We are talking about 1980s or something like
Yes.
that. So at that point of time, this Article 370 has played a very important role, and when Kashmiri Pandit were thrown out of their heritage, right? So that was a trigger. So don't you think that there is any kind of similarities what has been done with this Article 370?
Well, the whole Pandit situation is not really inside of my reach, but what I will say is that when Article 370 was introduced, it was for the betterment of the people. Everything is introduced for the betterment of the people. It's just people who exploit this in a ways that aren't exactly illegal, but not morally right.
Right. So let's get down to the international politics, right? So do you get yourself updated on what is happening on the international parameter?
Well, next year I'm going to be giving CLAT.
Right.
So for that, there's current affairs.
Right.
Which for that, I need to keep it up to date with everything that's happening around the world for the next year. So I haven't really begun, but I know some things. Like if you've noticed recently that France waged war against Russia. So that was out of the blue. And just things happening here and there, the ceasefire, the whole Israel-Palestine situation. A lot of things have been happening in the world.
So do you love to travel?
Well, I haven't really left the country for the last 10 years.
Okay.
I have 2 dogs at home,
Okay.
so we can't really leave them alone without them destroying anything.
Okay.
So that's why we haven't really gone out of West Bengal as a whole.
So I understand that this debate and participating in this kind of United Nations model workshop helps you a lot. But apart from that, do you really play some of the games, indoor or outdoor games that excite
Well, obviously,
you?
I am I wouldn't say active basketball player, but I like playing basketball.
Okay.
It's ever since I was like in 2017, I started playing it and I just got a feel for it. But eventually, after lockdown, I slowed down. But I still play it from time to time.
Okay. And when we are talking about your preference, that you want to be a lawyer, and definitely to become a lawyer, you have to clear the entrance exam, which is definitely CLAT. And as you know, that National Law College has a limitation,
That is true.
of a number of seats, right? So, if you don't get an option to study in one of the preferred national law college, right? So, you will be studying law definitely in a private institute. So, according to you, what is the difference of studying in NUS category institute and the private B school who provides similar law degree?
Well, besides the extreme difference in money, I would say placements. Because although, like for example, Symbiosis, it's a private college. It's one of the top 10 LLUs. While it is a private college, the placements aren't as good as, for example, a public like NUJS, which is in the top 4. So it's more about placements than actual, whether it's public or private.
So when, as a student, you select an institute, you always keep in mind about the placement as a top-notch priority, or you keep in mind the quality of education that has been imparted to you?
Well, it's both. We can't do or leave one out.
Okay. But to be very frank with you, as a lawyer, say for example, if you complete your LLB and you are hunting for a placement, you will be definitely getting a placement as a corporate lawyer or something like that. But don't you think that starting a practice under a law firm will give you much more leverage, because you have to understand the subject very close, right? And then getting a job will be a better option?
Well, today we just had a legal seminar, so I can answer this question to you now. When you're in college, the main thing which you want to do is experience. You want to get at least 2 years of experience so that you can get into a good law firm. So this could be in the form of internships, which some colleges already give out, or you can, for example, catch the eye of a good lawyer. And hopefully they take you in as an intern. So that's the main thing. It's not just about education, it's also about field experience.
So after the completion of your law program, you intended to become a lawyer, and your preference is corporate law or criminal law?
For now, it is corporate, but it might change depending on what type of law I fall in love with.
Right. So, any idea about international relation? You have heard about this particular program?
Well, yes, I have political science, so international relations is part of my syllabus.
Right. So any future plan of getting into international relation in your master's level, or you just want to be a lawyer and want to continue your LLM program in future?
That's something which I don't really know yet. I wanted to go abroad, but since I'm doing law, Indian law is what I have to be stuck with. So obviously I have to stay within the vicinity of India. But after my BBL and whatever it's done, I may go outside for further higher education.
So, Priyam, when you plan for your future, right, you are planning until your undergraduate degree. You are not planning beyond that, right? As of now, you have a plan until your UG degree program. So don't you think that the planning of career should start from focusing your future career objective and then do the backward integration? Say, for example, if you don't understand what exactly you want to do, what role you're going to play after the completion of your undergraduate as well as master's program, then sometime, because I have been doing this career counseling a lot, and I have seen students who have completed their law, and after completion of their law degree, they identify that they are not a good lawyer because they are introvert, they doesn't have that debating skill, right? So they prefer to shift their career into HR, right? Because LLB with MBA in HR is a very good cocktail, because you can definitely get a different kind of traction, right? And then after working in an HR role, they try to build up their career from there. But at that point of time, definitely the LLB program which they have completed is going to complement them, because LLB with HR is a very good combination. But don't you think that as a student, you have to identify the role that you're going to play, and then you do the backward integration? Like, say, for example, as you mentioned that you have a lesser knowledge on international relation or anything like that. So don't you think that you have to do a little bit of research on this area?
See, that's the thing. I'm a very lazy person. So what you said is absolutely right, that I should be planning my end goal before going through the steps.
Right. Because we have seen students who have done their BTech, and after completing their BTech, they identified that BTech is not their part of, it's not their goal, right? They want to do something else, right? So then the education becomes the liability at the end of the day. If whatever you are learning, you're not applying those things in your professional world, then the education will be a big liability for you, and you are wasting your time. So according to us, we always suggest the students to do a research on the future goal or the role that you're going to play after the completion of your future studies, and then do a backward integration so that you can identify the right course for you. I'm quite optimistic that what program you are selecting is absolutely aligned with you, because I can see a future lawyer. Okay,
Thank you.
I can
That
see
means
a
a
very
lot.
future lawyer, but I will also advise you to do a little bit of research on international relation, because what will happen, since you mentioned that you love to be in the debating side, right? And United Nations, you have spoken about United Nations. So LLB with an international relation is a very good combination, right? So you can not only work for United Nations, but you can also work for some of the government agencies like embassies all across the world, so that you can play a very important role in shaping your career in that particular direction, with law as your background and MA in international relation as your master's. Can be a deadly combination if you are not prepared to practice law as a lawyer, right? And then this can be an excellent career option. So Priyam, your parental influence, we will come back to the parental influence. So how your parental influence has shaped your decision making process for your career?
Well, my mother always wanted me to take science ever since I was a kid. It's
Okay.
basically what their
So you
parents
have disappointed your mother to some
Well,
extent.
I wouldn't say that,
Right.
but yes,
But yes, right.
I can't really deny it, because she didn't want me to take humanities at first in 10. But after I got my board's results and she saw that I did extremely well in the subjects which are in humanities, she decided to let me take it.
Right, right. And are you also preparing for some overseas education in your master's level?
I would hope so, yes.
So any plan? You have any sibling?
No, I'm an only child.
Only child, okay. So Priyam, we are coming to the conclusion part of this Student Voice Matter. The objective of Student Voice Matter is to empower you, and any concern that you have faced during this journey of selecting your stream or something like that, if you want to highlight, then that will be highly appreciated, because I understand that if you have selected humanities against the parental influence, right, then what has gone through with you, because that decision, that choice was very tough choice, because now you have to prove it, whatever you have chosen will give an end result, right? So any kind of incident or story, if you want to share with our audience, that will really help me out. How you have done this kind of mental choices.
Well, what I want to say at first is to anyone who's watching that don't fall under peer pressure.
Right.
Peer pressure is a thing which will either break your life or make your life.
Right.
So you need to be extremely thorough and clear on what you want to do. While your parents have expectations, everyone does. So they need to keep that in mind while pursuing what they want to do. Like most of the people in science that I know, they only took science because their mother wanted it. They're very good at studies. They can learn anything.
They can be very good at music as well, right? They can.
Funny you should mention that. Our school's main lead singer, he's in science.
Right. Right.
So his mother wants him to pursue engineering, but he has his own dream of being a singer and all of that. So the main thing is to keep both of your parents' expectations in mind while you're in 10. After your boards, after your results have come out, that's when you should obviously tell your parents what you want to do before that, but you should make it extremely final after boards, because after boards you go into 11. While 11 is not as tough as 10, I will say, because of less pressure. It is what will further mold your life. So basically, when I was in 9, I took science just after lockdown ended, so it was just a fresh session for me. So when I took science, I realized very early on that I wasn't really that good at it as the other people. So I obviously just passed by 9, 10, because even during boards, I don't want to say this, but I didn't study science at all. I just did not like studying it. On the other hand, history, geography, all of these subjects, they fall in interest with me, so I can easily do them. So it's basically about what you choose.
So you identify your DNA, which is into humanities, right?
Well, obviously, if you like science and your parents want science, then obviously you should take science. I'm not telling anybody to not take science. What I'm telling you is to listen to yourself before you listen to others.
That's a very good statement you're given. Listen to yourself. then listen to others, right? So thank you, Priyam, for the
Thank you for having me here.
wonderful voice that you have created. And I think your voice is going to influence the next generation who is willing to take a career choice based on their inner voice,
I hope it does.
right? Thank you very much, Priyam.
Thank you for having
this
me
lovely
here.
conversation. Thank you very much. Yeah.